Wasn't RDAP. He wasn't teaching RDAP, was he?
Yes, he was a DTS,
Okay.
a drug treatment specialist.
Gotcha, okay.
Few celebrity families have been pushed through the fire like the Chrisleys. Once icons of Southern wealth and witty family antics on Chrisley Knows Best, they fell hard. Federal indictments, guilty verdicts, and lengthy prison sentences. Rumors swirled online, tabloid headlines screamed scandal, and their reputations hung in tatters. But now a twist. Todd Chrisley walked back into the very prison that once caged him, this time not as inmate, but as invited speaker. He calls it his Joseph moment, a biblical-style reversal where his public humiliation flips into symbolic power.
See, I'm having to teach this one what the letters stand for.
Right, so see, if I didn't know it, you know they probably
So he was a
did.
drug treatment specialist with teaching these guys in RDAP.
The setting, a graduation for a prison drug program. The backdrop, skeptical critics and furious staff. The Chrisleys insist it was vindication. But was it? 1. Rumors that refused to die. Before the trip to Florida, Todd and Julie vented their frustration. For over a decade, the internet hasn't stopped recycling the same accusations. Todd's sexuality, cosmetic surgery rumors, endless facelift and filler speculation. Now, AI-manipulated images are circulating, showing distorted faces and exaggerated features, material gleefully shared to push fake narratives. Julie laughs at the idea. If I had major work, you wouldn't see me back on camera in 48 hours. Todd adds mockery of the AI edits as proof of desperation by tabloid writers. They frame it all as junk designed to shame them, but insist the shame falls on those spreading it. Yet gossip multiplies because it's algorithm fuel. Even their daughter Savannah has been dragged into it, cast in headlines as breaking down. Todd bristles. One person's struggle is exaggerated online into a meltdown. To him, it's unethical branding of pain for clicks. That's the tabloid cycle. Rumors repeat, distortions spread, and the truth gets buried. But the Chrisleys say reality is deeper, because behind the gossip lies institutional abuse they want to expose. 2. The tabloid machine versus Savannah's reality. Savannah's story has become clickbait gold. Blogs claim viewers will see her collapse in upcoming episodes. Todd and Julie reject this, painting it as lazy journalism. Savannah fought tooth and nail, they argue, never giving in to despair. The tension is clear. Tabloids feed audiences stories of public breakdowns because breakdowns guarantee page views. But Todd declares, "That's not my daughter. She doesn't wallow in self-pity." Even arguments inside the family, private tears in a shower, or anxious confessions become exaggerated headlines. To the Chrisleys, the damage isn't just false portrayals, but how easily pain becomes product. That frustration sets the stage for Todd's strange invitation. Go back to the institution he despised and address the very men trapped under it. 3. Invited back to Pensacola. To Todd, it was surreal. After his release, he received calls from governors, CEOs, even the president. But the request that stood out came from the Bureau of Prisons itself. Would Todd come back to Pensacola to speak to inmates graduating from RDAP, the Residential Drug Abuse Program? For him, it was like destiny. The same hallways where he claimed verbal abuse echoed now asked him to deliver wisdom. He compares it to the biblical tale of Joseph, once imprisoned, later placed in authority. But Todd admits he was uneasy. The memories of abuse from staff still haunted him. He worried about losing control, about flipping from polished speaker into furious accuser. He says he prayed for calm, asking for the strength to give truth without unleashing rage. His speech would balance on that line, expose the misconduct while encouraging inmates to push forward. 4. The temptation to fake it. Todd recounts how early in his sentence, he was approached to join RDAP for potential early release. The catch? He didn't qualify. He'd never used drugs, alcohol, or even smoked cigarettes. His pre-sentence report was clean, a rarity by staff's own admission. So what was the solution? An official allegedly offered Todd a shortcut. Just admit to something you don't have. Claim anger management issues. Pretend you had a problem. That way, he could qualify and maybe shave off a year. Todd says he refused flatly. The irony was too blatant. I went to prison for fraud, and you want me to perpetuate fraud inside prison? He declined, and the relationship with those staff soured. In his words, it set the tone for years of tension. He wouldn't play their game, and some never forgave him. 5. Abuse and fear inside RDAP. Todd's larger goal was exposing what he called systemic psychological abuse within the program. He claims staff berated inmates daily, calling them lower than predators, insisting their families didn't want them, stripping them of dignity. He remembers grown men leaving those hallways in tears. He insists it wasn't therapy, it was humiliation disguised as treatment. And while some staff showed kindness, Todd says they were the minority. Most, he claims, drank the Kool-Aid, looked away, or became part of the machine. To him, silence from bystanders is complicity. His return to Pensacola wouldn't just be about inspiring graduates. It would be about naming names and refusing to let abusers keep their masks on. And when he took the stage, naming names is exactly what he did. 6. The graduation weekend chaos. The event was set up with fanfare. National press showed up outside the gates. Cameras were installed inside the chapel. Inmate graduates smiled nervously, glancing towards Todd as they filed in. To them, this was surreal, the most famous inmate from the camp returning to speak. But staff weren't smiling. According to Todd, many fought against him being allowed in. They showed up anyway, bitter, glaring, and ready to critique. When Todd took the podium, emotion broke through. He promised himself he wouldn't cry, yet he paused in tears before his former peers. He opened his speech by exposing misconduct. Just a few minutes in, staff muttered from the back. Disruption erupted, a chair clattered, angry whispers filled the room. Todd claims even senior staff couldn't contain themselves, lashing out in front of National Bureau of Prisons officials. The very people who once taught inmates to control emotions lost theirs on the spot. It was theater, but unmasking theater. Todd says it showed the hypocrisy he long talked about. 6A. Staff backlash and hypocrisy. Todd compared one official to a wolf in sheep's clothing. In response, that very official tried to quote scripture while preaching humility. Todd pounced on the irony. If false prophets exist, his name matches too perfectly. This wasn't meek reconciliation. It was confrontation. Former staff accused Todd of grandstanding. He accused them of abuse. The inmates in the audience, he claims, nodded, clapped, even wept. To Todd, his message was clear. You can't lecture men on restraint, then lose your composure in front of a national audience. He turned their lesson against them, painting himself as the calm truth-teller amid chaos. For critics, it was theater staged for maximum sympathy. For supporters, it was proof that the Chrisleys never bowed their heads. 7. Power players watching. One reason the staff couldn't hide, Todd insists, was who else was in the room. Present were D.C. executives of the Bureau of Prisons, heads of the First Step Act program, and top administrators. Todd argues those leaders are starting to overhaul the system, clearing backlogs, opening new halfway house opportunities, and righting delayed home confinement flaws. Naming supportive figures, he framed the graduation as a turning point. This is where speculation grows. Reports suggest Todd has since spoken with governors across multiple states, even hinting at White House conversations. Nothing is confirmed, but fans and critics alike are buzzing about whether his media appearances hint at a larger agenda. 8. The bigger message, a Joseph moment. Todd wraps it all as vindication. From refusing fraudulent participation to leaving prison to now standing at the podium, it's his narrative of transformation. He cast the visit as Joseph moment payback. What once harmed him now placed him in authority. Julie admits she was nervous he'd lose his temper, but says seeing him deliver, leave her with interruptions, felt like closure. Todd dropped the mic on critics. I don't live for those who think I'm guilty. I know what I've done. The broader spectacle is clear. Haters see arrogance, supporters see resilience. The Family's podcast insists this fight isn't about gossip or tabloid fodder anymore. It's about exposing power gone unchecked and proving they survived without bending. Vindication or performance. So what really happened in Pensacola? Did the Bureau of Prisons invite back a redeemed man to inspire graduates? Or did Todd seize a staged opportunity to rewrite his story? Supporters seek closure after abuse, proof that lies couldn't win. Critics see another acting gig, timed perfectly with cameras and controversy. Both views can coexist. What's certain? The Chrisleys aren't running from the spotlight. If anything, they're running back into fire. They know whispers about sexuality, plastic surgery, and tabloid collapse will resurface tomorrow. They know critics will never fully forgive. But for Todd, walking into Pensacola as speaker instead of inmate was symbolic enough. From mocked rumors to standing ovations, his art keeps fueling headlines. And the question now isn't whether gossip will follow. The question is whether the Chrisleys can finally flip gossip into power.